Hello, everybody. I hope you're all having a wonderful day so far. I'm glad to be back. Sorry for the surprise few day break that was a little unplanned. Um, I definitely feel a little bit behind on some of my climbs now, but sometimes you just have to step back, take a break, work on some stuff that isn't related to video games. It is what it is. Today, we've got to get a move on our levels of play study. It's been a while since we actually sat down and worked on this concept. And I would really, really, really like to kind of. I'm not going to say wrap up. Oh, Jesus, what now? Let me check. One moment. Wait, hold on. Oh, you cannot be. Oh my god. It's my webcam mic! Wow!
That's fantastic. I love that. Why is my webcam my... Okay, whatever. Just... Cool. I think we fixed it. Let me go find out what's up. Sound settings. Input device. HyperX. What? True. My default, look at this. My default mic, right? My default sound and input device is my normal microphone here. So, I don't know. I couldn't tell you what was going on. Hi, guys. Yep. Hello. Alright, what do you say we get moving on our levels of play study? Does that sound like a good idea to you guys? I'm not going to say that we're going to finish today, because we might run into some problems, but the plan is we spent one session just watching games and studying and figuring out how matchups and gameplay changes. We spent another session really tunneling in on the jungle and how that goes. Now I think we get to start sorting champions and making tier lists like the last time, right? But for now, we should probably convert all of this information into a readable format, because we've got a lot that kind of has to move into this document, right? So let's do that. I think I actually did a... First of all, I'm just going to remind myself of how... Yeah, we have kind of things sorted around, right? Okay. I'm just starting to type here. So let me actually move my stuff on screen again and is this gonna actually work? Am I allowed to have this up at the same time? No, unfortunately I'm not. Is there any way I can kind of get around that? What if I were to yeah, screw it. Let's do this. Let's do this, shall we? Let's set it up like this. So in Platinum, players understand the basics. We understand basic macro fundamentals. We understand basic lane fundamentals, but shaking up those fundamentals very, very, very bad, right? Okay, mental stacks have limited space. Prisma are on the same page. You guys are... I had to check my audio levels. What do you want from me? I'm gonna move chat over to the other side. Let's move that. Steven, Prisma, Alex, welcome to the stream. Cool clip name. Yeah, you know what? Just we don't talk about those days. Okay. Mental stacks have limited space, and players struggle to think quickly and creatively at the same time. Right? That's kind of how Platinum works. So, whenever anything shakes up basic fundamentals, Platinum players are deeply uncomfortable. Therefore, any aggressive warp factor has a tendency to win. And we might have to define warp factor a little more. Players struggle a lot to play reactively, since they will understand most how to execute their own game plans and do not love to deviate. It's so in my experience and what I've learned and what I've played and what I've watched, Platinum, like, it really, 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 really is a level about being comfortable on certain ways of playing the game and trying to stick with it. Like, I'm trying to adjust my... There we go. Okay. We'll come back to this. I mean, can I bold some stuff in Notepad? I think I can't because it's plain text, right? Yeah. Okay, so I'm just trying to, like, compare against this. Yeah, we'll talk about matchups. Matchups. Because basic laning and jungling fundamentals are in place, matchup dynamics start to matter more. What exactly happens here? So, archetype-based matchups or range-based matchups almost always play out as expected. Whoops, I can't type. Interaction-based matchups have more wiggle room, right? If players must capitalize on small moments to win or lose their matchups... Actually, I'll just say win their matchups. Players must capitalize on small moments, on small temporary moments to win their matchups. That matchup will rarely swing as drastically as it would in theory. Example, right? Gragas top lane. Gragas top. Gragas top is trying to get to a point where it's very uninteractive. It's trying to get to a point where it just clears, but before it gets to that point, there are things that can kind of try to punish it on the wave if it plays like really, really, really aggressively. Those can be outplayed, right? If a matchup can be outplayed without... No. Yeah. Hold on. I'm trying to come up with a good way to, like, describe this permanently. Platinum players are less likely to find themselves in a position... I'm just copying from my notes right now. In which they can... in which they cannot generate their winning interactions. Similarly, they are less likely to recognize... I just wrote the... So this is how it kind of works, right? Compositional matchups are not as impactful as they should be, given how hard it is for platinum players to change the way they play. Right? Control comps are still consistently terrible because they demand that plat players play reactively. Teamfight comps are teamfight and aggro archetypes are both fine, especially since platinum players tend to have an idea of how to use their leads, right? They know how to close out basic leads. Like, actually, I wrote that here. I forgot. So actually, maybe I should archetypes. So bait and punish loses to dive startlingly often, despite how favored B and P. Whoops. Control archetypes. I'm actually just gonna put that back here. Teamfight and aggro archetypes are both fine. Aggro archetypes tend to dominate because due to the following factors. Although players have solid laning fundamentals, they still make very frequent mistakes. I'll swap that to frequent. We want to respect, like, because we don't want to draft like assuming people are just going to screw everything up, you know. That's right. Players have basic macro fundamentals and therefore have an idea of how to close out their lead. Closing out a lead still tends to involve direct combat at this level. Just trying to think, like, I'm trying to think about in my games what we do and don't think about, what we see our opponents thinking about and not thinking about. Players will make very frequent mistakes, but you can no longer reliably predict what those frequent mistakes will be, so it's improper to draft around those mistakes, right? I think that's accurate. I'm not sure what that sentence actually contributes to our understanding. I just realized this is probably, yeah, this is on this screen. Sorry guys, I just realized I didn't check to see like what's going to appear on what screen, so I'm just gonna have to kind of check that out and make sure we're all good. And there's nothing incriminating on my PC, obviously, like nothing actually bad that I don't want to show you guys, but like I like knowing what's going to go on my stream, you know? Okay. I think there's probably going to be something useful in like the jungle bit about how players like sync up with each other. The worst skill. Oops. Synchronization with teammates. Plat players have generally have a hard time understanding in the moment what their teammates might need from them. That's something over here, right? In both micro and macro. Waves do not get synced very often on pushes. Players are almost always out of sync with their atypical duos, i.e. anything outside of bot support, jungle, mid. Right, that's what we wrote. Side lanes can struggle to set up waves properly to accommodate jungle and mid intervention. The most common mistake you will be able to punish is a wave management error. Synchronization and wave management. The most common mistake you will be able to punish is a wave management error. Right. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Because, like, top laners will play out their lane as they should normally, except they will often forget to factor in what their jungler is doing, and their jungler might not always be able to help them, right? The waves don't move in sync. You're not rotating everybody around the map perfectly for a Herald play. Too many people move to plays. Sometimes not enough people move to plays. Like, is a wave management error. Okay, actually. Platinum teams will commonly send too many players to handle, or too many players to make a play. Be ready to punish on macro, right? Too many players to make a play because they're not always sure exactly which champions are necessary or what everyone else should be doing. So that's kind of what we've seen so far. Champions are still strong as long as they don't single-handedly define their archetype. Okay. Dives will occur, but will result in more losses than expected. So, like, be ready to sacrifice something in order to get greater value on the map. Okay, let's go back to, like, this interaction-based matchup thing a little bit, because we're trying to work out exactly. Often you can knowledge check. losing matchup. Unless... Actually, I'm just going to do, like... Exception. There are literally 0 winning interactions for one champion, i.e. Samira into Neela. Okay, so yeah, an interaction-based matchup doesn't get swung if you would win or lose because of like specific types of trades at specific. Yeah, hold on. If you would win or lose off specific trading patterns at specific times, that is highly likely to not occur. Yeah, okay, that's correct. That's how this works. What else do we have? Jungle tracking not ideal. We already talked about this. Slightly underdeveloped jungle support synergy usually leads to somewhat lacking vision games. Actually, we'll just say lacking vision games. We'll stop being as nice. Like, we have to be reasonably nice enough to respect, like, what players can actually execute at this level, while also just accepting that, like, yeah, if we're in Platinum, like, we're not, like, we've got flaws. I'm thinking about my own flaws as somebody who's been Platinum for a while, because I haven't been grinding my ability to actually play the game. I've only been grinding my out-of-game understanding, right? Okay. Jungle. Right. Junglers at this level understand the fundamentals of tracking and responding to plays, but laners have absolutely no clue what's going on in the jungle. They do not. They do not. Junglers will very often handshake and fail to take extremely aggressive leads. The only invades you see are the obvious ones. One, the team invades off clear prio with an obviously stronger jungler, or two, a jungler takes a cross-map resource invade. You will very, very rarely see junglers invade with no prio solely because they know they can kill before laner intervention. It does occur, but it's very uncommon. I'm actually going to write that down. Yeah, actually, there's this, right? The only common jungle versus jungle interaction are on late invades and on actual skirmishes. Crab fight's uncommon, right? Therefore, sorry, I'm just gonna, whoops. Clear speed doesn't matter. Clear speed doesn't matter. Actually, yeah. Platinum jungle. Whoops. clear health only matters if... Yeah, only matters if it would expose lanes to unanswered plays. If you are not a carry who can simply cross-map the enemy, actually, if you are not a carry, sorry, if cannot cross, what am I trying to say here? What am I trying to say? I don't know what I meant by this sentence here. What am I trying to say? Does anybody know what I'm trying to say? Because I want to remind everybody that we're just in a review phase before we move on to the next bit. Like, if somebody still has something else to contribute that I think would be useful, by all means, I accept feedback here. Champion-specific vulnerabilities are rarely capitalized on. If you cannot make a play or an invade during... If you can do nothing in response to an enemy play solely because your HP is low, because aggro wins in plats, that is dangerous. You will not be surprise solo invaded. Off only the knowledge that your champion has an unhealthy clear. Junglers will very often handshake, and I'm actually going to move this around so like we can... The only common jungle versus jungle interaction are on late invades. Therefore, if it's not lane-based, junglers won't push their... Remember that the ability to take invades hinges on the ability to generate information, but that jungle support synergy is lacking for the vision game. All right. I'm actually just going to start spreading things out so it's easier to read. I think that's pretty good, right? I still don't like how I phrased interaction-based matchups. If a winning interaction requires no conscious thought from the winner, then it does reliably swing interactions. Then it does reliably swing matchups. If winning interaction requires no conscious thought from the winner, or if there are literally no available winning interactions for one player, then the interaction-based matchup does always swing as expected. In essence, I'm not going to bold that. If it is possible to outplay your opponent... That's how it works, yep. If it is possible to outplay your opponent, the matchup does not always go as expected. So, like, let's think about some of these examples. Like, Lux versus Lulu support. I mean, realistically, Lux should win almost every time. Like, slightly winning in terms of lane phase, right? Because that's a range-based matchup. If it's an archetype-based matchup, it's like, if you're playing Lux into Braum, Braum never wins, ever, 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 ever. Interaction-based matchups, though, like, let's say we're playing in support, again, to stick with the role, Nautilus Leona. And then that matchup just matters how both people play. I mean, technically, Nautilus should be, like, slightly favored because he has some really winning interactions into Leona, but it's not going to play out as consistently, right? It's not going to play out as consistently, so Leona might be able to sneak in like an engage onto the Nautilus lane. Or like, let's say we're playing Thresh Zyra. Zyra should win that really hard, but since the winning matchup is based on Zyra's ability to poke and her ability to block hooks, and because Zyra doesn't, like the Zyra player won't always protect themselves from the only losing interaction, Thresh can win the matchup, right? That's kind of what I'm getting at here. Ever see junglers? Junglers will almost never show in a lane solely for a tempo push. Is that everything that we talked about? Is that everything that we talked about? Okay, hold on. There's one more. Warp factors. If a champion fundamentally changes how the game is played for their enemies, then they have a warp factor. Sorry, then they have a high warp factor and are significantly more effective in plat play. If a champion fundamentally changes how the game is played for their allies, that same warp factor can be a detriment. However, if specific practice time is allocated, then plat players can get the hang of it, provided that the warp factor lends itself to proactive play. If a champion fundamentally changes how the game is played for only their player, then there is no real difference in power, right? Plat players struggle to change the way they play, but at the same time, they may simply be comfortable on a weird champ. Okay, once a fight has broken out, put it here. Plat players will almost always struggle to process additional macro information. Chaos disorients. I think that's everything, right? Okay. Oops, what the hell did I write here? Therefore, an aggressive warp factor. What's up? Hey, Paradox. You learned Zac is pretty interesting. Zac is a cool champ. Zac is a cool champ in plot. I'm sorry I didn't respond to your message the other day. I'm not going to reveal it publicly. I did read it. I think that's really cool. Frankly, I just forgot to respond. I was playing Zac too myself. I think Zac is pretty strong. I think Zac is pretty good. But I played a game where I missed every E, and my enemies were immobile, and I just kind of chalked that one up to being not an experienced Zac player. I gave myself some leniency on that one. It wasn't super great. Zac top is cool. It is very underexplored, I think. Still not a... Through interaction-based emus to unlock that power. I've got to stop auto-correcting that, right? Okay, I think we've gone through both of our our notepad documents. I think we're clear, right? A lot of handshaking. They can foresee counter ganks. Hold on. On late invades, on actual skirmishes, and on clear counter ganks. Okay. Never see shoving for lane tempo. Haven't seen such late for Drake tempo. Jungle versus jungle and crowd fights have been avoided. Invades are predictable because they incur only crossfires. Yep. Generates information, but these were just like rough notes, right? Stable lanes, basic specificity is hard. Fast decisions are hard. Playing reactively is hard. Shaking up the fundamentals are hard. Struggle to deviate from the basics. Autopilot occurs a lot. Matchups no matters. Things start to play out as expected. Competently played kill champions still capitalize on. Did I write that down somewhere? I think I did. Archetypes. Yeah. Use search? Oh, I'm not searching. I'm not searching here. I'm just reading my own notes and making sure I like actually got anything. I can't really search the notepad document. Matchups, no match. Yeah, because we just went through that. Interaction-based matchups. We talked about the interaction. We talked about the winning interaction stuff. Linear struggles. Yep, I got that in. Compositional matchups. No. Yep, we did. Control bad. We did. Practice time. I didn't write that down. But that's true of everybody. It's not really relevant for this level of play. It's just how amateur play works. Competent aggro still dominates. Players are better snowballing leads and can capitalize on vulnerability warp factor. Players have poor understanding of what exactly their allies need from them. Macro, we did that. I just think with atypical duos, we talked about that. Side lanes, we did. When, yep. Okay, we translated everything from, oh my goodness, what is this? We should be able to search in the OneNote search bar. Yeah, but again, I was literally just reading my notepad documents to make sure I had actually talked about every point, right? It's not opposite problem. Good to see you, Hellfire. Okay, so now that we've translated everything from our previous 2 streams of studying this into our OneNote, now it's just about, I think, because I can't think of any other specific lane things that would matter, because top lane is just like the interaction-based matchup thing, right? There's nothing different about it. Mid, there's nothing like specifically different. Like it's not like an IBS, right? Where in IBS we had like very specific types of champions that simply win in each role. I don't think we necessarily have that in Platinum. We're just looking for generalized warp factors, right? We're just looking for champions across the board who are capable of like inciting controlled chaos and overloading people's mental stacks. Because like remember, we're just starting to like get acquainted with stuff like stopwatch checks in Platinum. So counterpicking becomes heavy in Plats. That's true. I mean, I definitely did include that, like, matchups start to matter, right? We start to care about matchups, but, like, I still think, I mean, people are definitely using improper counter picks, too. Yeah, like, you don't get to, you don't get to get away with drafting the same way you do in IBS. Like, you have to care about counter pick, you have to care about exposing yourself to counter picks, with the asterisk, like, unless it happens to be an interaction-based matchup that, like, you can reasonably expect yourself to outplay. Okay, yep, okay, I agree. We're so far in sync. Draft pick order swapping is huge. Oh, but we're not talking about solo queue is the thing. We're not talking about solo queue. We're talking about, Platinum Amateur. Like, I'm sure in solo queue it's even worse, where the, synchronization stuff, like, the synchronization gets even worse, right? Yeah, because again, like, that's my core, I have two very core areas of interest. One is, understanding and introducing, like, amateur play at any level to, like, a wider audience. I want to understand, like, various levels and just make it accessible. And two, I like to, like, translate knowledge between competitive games and stuff like that. So solo queue is not my area of expertise. I'm very bad at solo queue, actually. I'm a pretty atrocious solo queue player. Okay, so now that I'm comfortable with these ideas, let's figure out a framework that can make a tier list, like, actually useful. Because what we did in IBS last time, we basically just made it as though it was a standard tier list, and I kept talking about it. I'm like, this might have limited value. Where, yes, we can understand that, like, for example, in IBS, Mundo and Rammus and all that are, like, dominant champions, and Mordekaiser is a dominant champion, and very little will change that. But there's kind of like a disconnect where it's like, I don't want to have to maintain the tier lists as time goes on for, like, IVS and stuff like that, so obviously it will need some maintenance as time goes on, but, like, I want to find a list that is more comparative to theoretical power levels, right? Were the notes for an amateur game? The notes were from our previous two streams where, yeah, we were spectating a lot of amateur games. I think how many games did we go through? It was a bunch. We basically just, I used my previous experience from the past year, like, being involved with, like, platinum level amateur. And I watched some VODs from, like, grand finals of sets from the past, like, leagues from the past year. Grand finals, semifinals, like, around there. Yeah, no worries. It's an easy mistake to make. Like, very few people are actually talking about this scene, right? So I need to figure out a system that, like, makes sense for me here. How do we build an actually useful tier list for this level? Pure tier list, I mean, it's like, the IBS tier list gave us a good idea of what was stronger, but the way it was framed implied that champion power mattered more than it did, right? I'm trying to do, yeah. I like to use my IOG system for stuff like that. When I talk about theoretical power, I mean, like, what is their current power if the game plays out with, like, minimal mistakes. Like, if we have a theoretically, like, as close to perfect team as we can get competing against a team, you know, like that sort of thing. I make like theoretical power lists where I just straight up make IOGs. Like I check input, output, gates, spikes, plug that into a tier list, which I don't usually share publicly. And then we have to apply a lens from that list into like, okay, I shouldn't make that gesture. We have to we're trying to design like a lens to translate like that theoretical power level to like actual practical play, right? Hi, Jackie. Good to see you. So like my usual IOGs tier list creates a system where it's like oppressive, dominance, powerful, respectable, like middling, niche, hyper niche, weak, abysmal, right? That's my usual IOGs system. That's like an actual assessment of power. If we've determined that at the platinum level, like this kind of doesn't matter too much, it wouldn't make sense to use the exact same system on a list. So we need to like make a list that talks about how well champions map onto platinum criteria instead. That's the tier list that would actually give us value. So I just need to come up with like headers that work for the way my brain works. It's like, how are we actually trying to sort this? Let's start brainstorming. What's the best way for me to brainstorm? Well, the best way for me to brainstorm is to get all this stuff off my desk. Give me 2 seconds, guys. I'm sorry. I forgot to clean. Okay. Sorry for flashbanging you guys with like light mode stuff, but I don't think there's a dark mode notepad. So, I mean, so we would be looking for tiers like slightly improved, like slightly weakened. I mean, these aren't very good names for stuff, but it's like, probably in Notepad++, right? What would that even look like? Just need to update. What? Windows 11 thing? I'm Windows 10, yeah. Wow, that's so weird. Cool, they're getting with the times. I like that. So yeah, so we're looking for stuff like this. We're looking for like relative terms, right? Like we're probably looking for like we would want something at the top where it's like, yeah, like perfect plat champ. Like I don't know what to call it though. Like I'm looking for nice, comfortable words like this that I can describe, right? Because right now it's like when factoring in the lens of levels of play, IOGs based tier lists read as such. I'm gonna leave this in. Although I'm probably not gonna make an IOGs based list for levels of play again. Stuff like this. Yeah, like descriptive adjectives. We're looking for like, you know, let's just go to thesaurus.com and see if anything sounds like. I like enhanced. I like augmented, right? I like refined. Word Hippo is also OP for synonyms. Ooh, might have to check that out after this. But sometimes I like it when they're not like perfect synonyms, you know? It's just like something close, like. Enhanced revive. would it be reasonably like okay, so see now there's a bit in the back of my mind that's saying it's like, no, you should actually try to make kind of a tier list so it's actually useful for people, like, but that would age poorly. I can make a tier list later. Right? Yeah. Word hippo. Oh my god. Better. Upgraded, augmented, perfected, revised, modernized, evolved, developed, reformed, progressive. We're looking for something where it's like, okay, so it's like something that just fits the criteria, right? Like, sorry, I'm trying to look in plat, right? Something that just like fits all these criteria where it's like, I mean, we're gonna have to start trying to work with it to really find out. You know what? Let's just okay. Let's start with bot lane. Let's just start like fiddling with some pieces, and I want like some kinesthetic research here, right? Like I want to just start fiddling with pieces and like see what problems I run into, because I think that will like lighten the way forwards, right? So bot lane. We're not gonna get weird with it yet. We're just gonna. Okay. Every time I say we're not going to get weird with it, I include Cho'Gath in my AD carry list, but that's okay. Babe, promise you won't talk about Cho'Gath ADC to my parents. I promise, right? Free drinks later. Have I missed something? We have to, I mean, I use Garen in my list. No, we're not getting weird. We're not getting weird. Yeah. Jack. Okay, we're not getting weird. I missed Jhin. No. Jhin, Kaisa, Callista, Karthus. Normal bot lane. We're not getting weird. Okay. Lucian. I mean, there's been kind of a rise of Lux bot. Did I skip Cog? Jeez, my brain is off. Forgot. Karthus has been excellent for a while, but not necessarily in solo queue jungle. Karthus bot lane is pretty fantastic. Karthus mid is pretty niche, but fine. Karthus jungle has flaws in solo queue, but in theoretical play is very strong. Okay, let's just make sure I'm not stupid again. Okay. We're gonna start around Alawi. Irelia, Ivern, Jenna, Jarvan, Jax, Jace, Karma, Kassadin, Katarina, KL, Kane, Kennen, Kha'Zix, Kled, LeBlanc, Lee Sin. We haven't missed anyone yet, right? Lulu, Lux. Boop, boop, boop. Misfortune. Boop, 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 boop. I mean, I will include Nico just because that is a thing. Here's Neela. I'm not putting Quinn in. Actually, we're putting Quinn in. Rumble, Samira, Sejuani, Senna, Seraphine, Shen. I'm not gonna look at chat for a moment just because my brain is about to wander in like a bajillion different directions, so just bear with me for a moment. Swain, Syndra. I don't think Talia AD carry has been explored very well, so I'm not gonna talk about it right now. Not Vel'Koz. I mean, this has been a thing historically. This is terrible right now, but has been a thing historically. Zaya, I do believe in Xerath bot lane. Yasuo. Zeri. Ziggs. Okay, we're done. I keep forgetting Heimer! Thank you. I keep forgetting Heimer. God damn. Okay, did I miss anything else that is, like, obvious for bot lane? Anything at all? Anything here? Yes, no. We're good. Did we see anything? Yeah, spot. I think bot lane is Yasuo's best role, and it's not close. That's my opinion. But Nico for APC. I've seen it with some funny kill lanes. I played Nico Pantheon with a friend once just for fun. That was funny. I mean, I've been needing to experiment with some like Nashers, making they're good jokes. No, they're good jokes. Don't put yourself down. All right. Okay, bot lane. So, like, when we look at these champions, right, and we're trying to figure out, it's like, is this champion better or worse or roughly the same in Platinum? What things come to mind? It's like, okay, when a champion is roughly, oh my god, the same in Plat, should we make a distinction between strong and weak? Is it weird to place, like, strong and weak champions together? Sorry. Is it weird or misleading to place strong and weak champions together in slightly improved tier? Like, stuff like that. Like, we're trying to figure out the answers to questions like this right now. So, like, oh, we should talk about, we should always look for champions who are easier to pick at certain levels of play. That's something. Also, where's Akshan? Akshan is so niche. Akshan Trundle and, like, Akshan Braum are, like, the only two lanes. If they exist at all. I guess you could also argue about, like, Akshan and Nivea or something like that. It is fun swinging off pillar. I love swinging off pillar. Spin on rock. Didn't say it's good. I'm lost in the sauce, guys. See, actually, I'll move this over. No, you know what? I'll move you guys over here. You guys get moved over here. Yeah, that's better. That's a better layout of the screen. So. Okay, so it's like here we're looking for like our perfect plot champ. Here we're looking for like significantly stronger with easier pick conditions. Oops. It's like this is, I don't know, like has some appealing properties from the elo, like no change. It's like slightly deval. I mean, I'm just putting like obviously like really in-depth like words here, right? No brand bot. I'll put brand bot in. We were talking about brand bot for a bit. He might stay in unknown tier for like a little bit. So it's like with easier pick conditions. Actually, we should make another distinction here where it's like significantly stronger, but like it's like literally doomed because of rank tendencies. Like Dark Harvest Graves. Oh, the stacks from your cannons. Oh, that Dark Harvest. The one where it's like you just farm jungle camps and then like, boom, we scale, right? The like offensive Strength of the Ages one. Strength of the Ages. Do you guys remember that? Wow. Varus is the perfect plat champ. Okay, is that because... Is that because Varus has tendencies that make him noticeably stronger in Platinum, or because Varus just happens to be, like, the best AD carry in the game? So... I'm not trying to put an answer in your mouth. I don't know what the answer are. You think people are worse against Pick Tool's bots? I think that checks out. That makes sense. Because people still do make landing mistakes, like, reasonably often. Actually, we should probably make a note of that. Winning interaction requires no conscious thought. Platinum players are less likely to find themselves in a position... Sorry, Platinum players are more likely to find themselves in a position in which they cannot generate their winning interactions. Remember, players have the basics understood. It doesn't mean they're amazing at positioning to optimize survivability or threats. That's actually the key point. I wouldn't be surprised, but I am not confident in making that claim without some hard data. So, like, okay, so let's... If we were to go through... Like, to be a perfect... Okay, I'm just going to say this right away. To be a perfect Platinum champion, you must hit the warp factor criteria. You must have, like, a noticeable warp factor. You must, like, fundamental... Oh. You must fundamentally... Oh. You must fundamentally change how the game is played to an uncomfortable degree. Because specificity is hard. So it's like, you know, we would put like Samira would be slightly improved down here. We would put like, I mean, we would be looking like, I mean, like Xayah slightly. Xayah's weird because, like, we don't like this style of control champion. I mean, the control champion is good, but if... Oh, this gets complex fast. Okay, She's anti-dive, but she becomes appealing because a lot of Platinum players don't necessarily have Draven or Aphelios in their pools, and those are her core competitors, right? She's anti-dive. Anti-dive usually underperforms in Platinum. Like, bait and punish comps don't perform well because Platinum players, like, we're always uncomfortable playing reactively. We would always prefer to play proactively. That's actually... Didn't I have, like, a... Yeah, IBS-specific gates and... Okay. Plat-specific gates, plat-specific boons. Being a fundamentally reactive champion limits power unless the team around you is all very proactive. Warp factors above all. Right. We need to talk about these gates and these boons. stronger. So it's like kind of like empowered. Enhanced, empowered, like where does Neela stand? I think Neela's quite good. Do you think she gets punished in draft enough? Well, that's the thing. Yeah, she does get punished in draft very hard. Neela's matchups are swung off. They're not interaction-based matchups. They're range-based matchups or archetype-based matchups, usually. So, yes, I mean, there's no way she gets up here, but at the same time, like, it's such a weird way to look at things. Like, obviously, she would not make it up here. I mean, I think she'd probably be, like, slightly enhanced, because, again, like, the... aggressive nature tends to be rewarded. So, I mean, Neela is, like, a reasonably aggressive champion, and because she's a reasonably aggressive champion, like, she's slightly empowered. I think probably Sivir is, like, very slightly devalued, right? I mean, I'm liking... Okay, what do we have here? Like... What's under, like, slightly devalued? What would be, like, way harder, way harder to pick, if that exists, maybe, like... Right? Sivir becomes way worse around Plat because she starts getting very abused. Does that insinuate that you think Sivir becomes way worse, like, as you go even higher? Because I would... If that is what you're trying to say, then I would disagree. I think, like, most of Sivir's pick conditions right now do revolve around... Like, don't get me wrong. You can't just slam Sivir right now. You can't just slam Sivir because there are all these aggressive champions. Probably in solo queue, you're right. I would not be surprised if you were right in solo queue. So, I will put that asterisk on it, right? You may be right while talking about the part of the game that I'm least familiar with. But at least, like, in competitive, too, right? At least in competitive, that's not true. You just can't pick her if you are, like, full early blinding her and, like, you haven't secured, like, Yuumi or something, right? Like, because we have seen these, like, LPL teams drafting with, like, Yuumi B1, and then they leave the Zeri Sivir trade up because Zeri's, again, like, dominating, and Sivir's the natural answer. So it's like, do we think Jhin rises up? It's dangerous to say with the new AD changes, because it's like... It's dangerous to say that, because then we're starting to get into, like, oh, Jhin is stronger right now, so we would say he's better, but, like, that's not what the list is about. Like, with the new AD changes, that will maybe become relevant later. Picks like Samira, Twitch, Kaisa just run her over. Oh, Twitch especially, yes, absolutely. Yes. Because he does have the guaranteed crits. I'm afraid of thinking too deeply into that line right now because I think it's a bit unrelated. I think if I start going down that rabbit hole, we will get very distracted. So we'll come back to that like in next week or the week. Yeah, probably it's next week, right? Next week when patch notes drop formally. We'll come back to that next week. Yeah, they're trying to... Honestly, Look, I didn't agree with Freak all the time when he was a caster. I think he was an amazing play-by-play, but when he was, like... Not play-by... I think he was an amazing color caster. Like, he brought so much hype to so many situations. But then when he was going through his heel arc, it was just so annoying to hear him, like, flaming everybody, even if he was wrong. That said, like, as a designer, having his format of content is, like... so valuable, and I love what he does now. Like, I love that he's still doing his patch note stuff with the context of, like, hey, I worked on this, right? Like, it's such great insight. I never really disliked Freak, I just disliked that one aspect of his heel turn. So now I love what he's doing. Extra mana in lane is so nice. True. And then you just go Presence of Mind on top of that, right? Surprised Draven ranks so high with his catch blades mechanic. Okay, so Platinum is the level of play where you're starting to expect your players to know how to play the champions that they play, right? You're starting to expect them to like be... So if somebody has climbed on Draven to this point, like, yeah, you have the basics of Draven down, you're good at him, you have the basics of the lane down, you're good. I'm not going to like look at these mechanically demanding champions and just say that's a gate at this level. Way harder to pick. So, like, what would go here? Like, the equivalent of empowered would be, like, noticeably gated or something. Like, I guess that's it. Because now we have, like, a kind of a mirror here, right? Match, like... I should go in this one. Counterpart equal. Antagonist complement. This isn't what I was looking for, right? But they just may not know their opponent's full. Exactly. Yep. Very accurate. And they might not know their allies fully, too. It's funny that you should say that, Paradox, because I was actually thinking about that yesterday. Right? She suffers under synchronization issues. She 100% does. 100% suffers through synchronization issues. And frankly, I think Caitlyn at top is a little overrated too, especially now that Varus is here to answer her and that Zeri can weather the storm and like... I mean, she's still obviously very good. There's always the Lucian answer. Oh, speaking of, I don't know if it's this. I don't know which it is, but like... Yeah. Aggro champs are... heavily improved. Okay. Being a fundamentally proactive, aggressive champion augments power. We'll phrase it like that. We're trying to come up with our criteria. So, like, okay, so why would Jinx be slightly better in Platinum? Why would Jinx not just be exactly as good as she normally is in Platinum? What makes her better? Again, I'm not saying that you don't have something. I'm just saying that, like, I'm going to need some help on that one, right? Exactly, yep. Proactivity versus reactivity. I think in theoretical play, that's irrelevant. I think in Platinum, it's very, very, very relevant. Laning is pretty decent. She can be reactive or proactive. Easy setup. You can play like Not Jinx, Lulu Jinx. That's true. Okay, so... our current hypothesis is that in Platinum, like, a lot of aggro strategies just become stronger. Because I think this is, like, the critical mass of... you have the skills to execute aggro, but not quite the skills to resist aggro. I think that's the critical mass of it. On paper, that would insinuate that Jinx is, like, a little bit weaker in Platinum. Which probably means that we're missing something because I don't think that she's weaker in Platinum. Is she losing... Are her matchups mostly, like, interaction-based? Snowball's crazy. That's true. That's true. And we're expecting a little more gold than usual, right? A little more gold than usual. I'm actually just gonna come, like... And then we just need, like, slightly devalued, noticeably gated, harder pick conditions, and then it's doomed. Right. Jinx would only really suffer from synchronization. Okay, synchronization means that... Okay, so let's think. Jinx is, like, unusually resistant to certain aggro strategies just by... I was gonna say by virtue of her range, by virtue of her support partner. She before Varus really rose to power, and before Zeri came out, I called Jinx, like, the most self-reliant hyper carry. She was one of the more consistent ones. I almost want to say this... Like, so Jinx isn't... You think about the fact that she can just destroy waves in any matchup, and she's like... She's surprisingly competent as a neutralizer, isn't she? For her to get up to here, there would have to be some factor to her laning that, like... What is that factor? What is that factor? If there is a factor, she will be moved up. Like, because if there is a factor, we have to figure that out. We have to know. Good night, Alex. If we were Diamond Plus, she would be high. Would she be higher in power, or would she be improved from theory because of Diamond? You see how weirdly specific this wording gets? Like, it's kind of uncomfortable almost. Like, but like once we're on the same page, it'll all make sense. Like, in theory, since she would have an even better team to play with her. Well, Caitlyn would go up because she fully depends on that macro synchronization. Jinx kind of doesn't. Well, because she would have a better team to play with her, but she would also have a better team trying to stop her, right? Jinx has a support who gives her movement speed. She is greatly enhanced. Yes, but also if Jinx has a support to chain CC with, she was greatly enhanced. And if Jinx has a support to, like, soften enemies on the poke, she is enhanced. Like I think that's true, but Jinx has so many potential synergy points that it's like barely worth talking about. Like, break spacing for her rocket autos. Yeah, that, I mean, yeah. But it's just another synergy point, like. Let's just find some, like, aggression. Okay, so why is Seraphine up here? There's something that we're missing here. It's like, okay. Offensive utility is huge. Also, Seraphine has kind of a warp factor. A little bit. Yeah, actually, I am going to just say offensive utility is huge. And Seraphine has a lot of offensive utility as well. Seraphine allows odd picks on your team. I mean, like, how many people can actually, like, just... Oh, and the way to beat Seraphine relies on better synchronization, right? If you want to dive Seraphine, you've got to get much better at your wave management. So, yeah. Irelia mid. Well, you can unlock those with an AP jungler, too. As long as you have the means. Like, I mean, Irelia can be enabled by, like, Rakan as well, right? Bruiser mid's enabled. Bruiser mid... Yeah, you can Bruiser wallet. It comes down to which champs can poke faster, since both players can react at the same time due to experience. In the context of poke versus poke, I'm sorry, Jackie, I've gotten lost in the sauce a little bit. My brain can't follow exactly where you were in the argument. I mean, aggression, like, Karthus becomes way better. Right? Oh, he warps the lane quite a bit, too, right? Bot lane. Yeah, Zeknolis is bot lane for right now. We're still trying to decide what the tiers mean, because, like, again, it's not really a tier list. It's not a tier list, exactly. It's a list of how champions are impacted by the Platinum Lens. So it's like, even like champions that are higher than others can still be weaker overall, but, you know, it's not a tier list, but that's kind of it. There's just this extra degree of, like, something there. In the context of why a champ is better in laning, that is indeed a factor in poke versus poke. Yes, poke versus poke is a matchup dynamic that, like, is swung pretty heavily from draft. Okay. We do like champions with high amounts of pressure to lower the enemy's abilities. Okay. Ezreal improved thanks to his new build. Ezreal improved. Is Ezreal improved? Ezreal's improved. Is Ezreal improved? He is slightly improved because wave management is weaker, and he will not be oppressed quite as hard by his own poor wave clear. Yes, okay. Probably. I don't like Divine. I strongly prefer Trinity. He does have PTA Kraken. Do we even like the Kraken? Ezreal's going to get so much better with being able to skip the Kraken and just go into Quick Blades. No? Like, the Kraken was just a necessary evil. To my knowledge, it was, at least. If you... Oops. Good luck, Prisma. The really good Ezreal players weave autos between everything. Yes, they do. They do, for sure. Isn't that... Wait, hold on. Doesn't that build start with Essence? It does, yeah. Kraken helps with PTA. It shouldn't. No, it shouldn't. Let's double check. It shouldn't. Oh my god, I don't want... Okay. Causing them to deal... Yeah, it shouldn't. It's just two sources of burst. I see what you mean, yeah. Two sources of burst. Just a funny, haha, get hit by the PTA and the Kraken proc at the same time, right? In the moment where their teammates might need from them, waves do not sit very often. Players are almost out of sync with their typical duos. Side lanes consider combinate mid-jungle intervention. As a result, champions that require proper wave management to counter or to dive are slightly empowered. We will make mistakes. Right? So that would actually imply that Jinx could kind of go up here a little bit, like. I'm just looking at all the terrible wave clear champions. in bot lane. Poor wave clear from the ADC is not punished as severely. I think that's true. And I think if that's true, then Ezreal gets here and Vayne gets here, and Varus is here solely off like some aggressive tendencies like with the pick, but he's not like dramatically improved. I mean, he's already amazing. Oops, not that. I'd probably rather do this. Just some colors, right? Ezreal pick conditions aren't as severe. I would like to point out that there are some B1 Ezreals after 80 carry bans go through at current professional play. I have been of the opinion that like Ezreal pick conditions weren't as severe as people were saying to begin with. I mean, especially with Karma around, with Lux around, like the range support prominence to help play. Oh, hold on. Being an aggro champ that relies on specific synchronous macro movements is damning. It's very bad. If your aggro champion is like, you know, complex aggro is weak, simple aggro is strong, which is kind of... So, I mean, would that weaken Callista? Would that weaken Callista in Platinum? Velia's slightly devalued, we're sure. I mean, slightly devalued Xayah. Not bad. It's not bad at all. She's slightly devalued. I think no change misfortune, right? I'm just throwing stuff out, and we can kind of talk about it afterwards if we disagree. And we also don't have names for these yet. Actually, slightly devalued is not a bad name for the tier. What's an antonym for... Oh, I forgot my words, my god. What's an antonym for enhanced? Okay, yes, I can't type. Enhanced... I want antonyms. Marred. Unadorned. Marred. Broken. Or impaired. Mangled. Incapacitated. Hindered is good, yeah. Hindered is good. I mean, impaired sounds like really bad is the thing. We'll keep impaired at the back of our minds. What else? What goes where? Let's try to play some more stuff. Is Xerath better? Is Kindred better? I mean, honestly, Kindred is probably slightly better. No way. It's pretty good. Spoiled, deformed, blemished, defaced, upset. It feels odd having Ez below Samira. Yeah, but remember, it's not a tier list. It's not a tier list. It is a filter for a tier list to go through and become another tier list. Like, yeah. Each of those groups are checking against that definition. Opposite of having made a quantity bigger. Oh, cool. Opposite of to have intensified, weakened, lightened, thinned, mitigated, diminished. Diminished is kind of nice. Bing, bong, boom, boom. Do you guys see why I'm better at, like, edited content, by the way? My process is it's so messy. Exactly. It's a preview layers list. Paradox is just like random bullshit. Go. I think Jin is probably way better in Platinum than he is in any higher level. Like, but he's still awkward and unpleasant, like, to a degree. Like, he still can't secure the Drakes. Maybe we don't care about the Drakes. Maybe we're just murdering people. This is how you build the knowledge web, by making strands everywhere and then trying to untangle them. You know, I kind of do vibe with it a little bit. Like, I have this on the back burner in my brain. I'm sure it's thinking about it in the background. And I'll, like, click eventually. Hey, can we really say that, like, almost every 80 carry is better down here? Or... is it no change on Vagar? I mean, that's offensive utility. You gotta think, like, who is just as good as they normally are? Who is, like, slightly weaker than they normally are? Who is, like, noticeably weaker than they usually are? Do we agree with this Callista, by the way? Is that fine? Like, who actually finds more difficult pick conditions? Like, probably no one, right? Probably no one. Oh, wait a minute. No, it is Senna. That's Senna. No, I know that was an unrelated message, but it's Senna. Because she becomes more difficult to pick because she imposes weirdness on her allies. She has a warp factor that may negatively impact her teammates. How viable is Bingus in the cat? I thought you were asking about my cats for a second. I'm like, I only have 3 cats. I don't have to rank very many of them, but... Okay, so, like, in that sense, too, Soraka is weaker. Like, Soraka 80 carry is weaker in Platinum, for sure. I say 80 carry, I mean bot, like Soraka bot, you know what I mean, like not building marksman, but... We could put Corki in our list, like just... Yeah, no, Senna's the champion who goes down here. She's weaker. Cog devalued? Is Cog devalued? Theoretical Cogmaw is excellent. But is Cog devalued? Swain, same as Seraphine. Swain, okay. Swain 80 carries. Swain 80 carry just as warping as Seraphine. Champions who lower the allies need to know what to do are better. To a degree, yes. Senna's particular in that, like, if you've ever tried to draft Senna for a coordinated team, you very quickly realize that they need to explicitly practice Senna lanes. So, like, we know it is true that Platinum players... Where is it? I can't find it for some reason. Yeah, Platinum players in the moment generally have a hard time understanding what their teammates might need from them. What specifically... Wait, what the hell? What specifically their teammates might need from them, right? So if you just need a general sense of what your allies need, you're good. we're still kind of wrapped up in our own game plans to a degree, but not as much as like IBS. I am saying that, but I don't want to insinuate that it's like extreme. Right. Who else is really reactive in here? Who's really reactive? We'll come back to Swain in a moment. Who's very reactive? Who's very reactive? Nico's reactive. Yeah. So does that make her weaker down here? Or is she generating more catches? Like, is her range okay? She probably is slightly devalued. Oh, this is weird. Oh, this is weird. Ugh. Is Zaya really slightly I don't think so. I don't think she's slightly devalued, even though she is a reactive champion. Like, it is so trivial to set her up with proactivity. And you just pick her a winning lane, like, she's good, right? But there's probably no change in Zaya. Fishtifer and Panko is a pretty woods. Yeah, Fishtifer is really broken. Do we have anybody that we think is like actually doomed in Platinum who ordinarily might not be? Who would be like doomed? Is he like actually doomed here? I have a hard time accepting that, to be honest. I don't think he's like particularly reactive, nor does he warp the game in a negative way, nor does he... I mean, again, we're trying to find what our gates are. Being fundamentally reactive is our only gate. Relying on specific synchronous macro movements is damning. I mean, okay, if we're a plates champ, then we're slightly devalued, probably. If we're a plates champion, we're slightly devalued. So actually, maybe that means Trist is, like, only down here. I feel like Ziggs is just useful. I mean, I also do like Ziggs. I'm the one who taught you that, right, Prisma? Like, I'm the one who taught you that that Ziggs is probably the safest blind pick you have. And I don't think he changes to... I mean, like... this is weird. This is weird. This is certainly weird. So no, I don't think I agree with Ziggs being doomed, but I think he probably is slightly devalued because he's a plate champ. Plate champs. No. Sorry, let's be more specific than that. Champions who rely on taking over the game via turret plates are slightly weakened. So yeah, actually that's probably why the list looks the way it does, because we have a lot of boons but not a lot of gates. Are we missing gates? Honestly, it might have been easier to start with jungle. I don't know if I like limited. It's like gated. Unlocked. Yeah, unlocked and gated are opposites. That's funny. I do like slightly devalued just because it, like, implies it's not that bad. Okay, how do we feel about Aphelios Truly? Like, realistically, we're talking plot, yeah. How do we feel about Aphelios Truly? Like, realistically, the only player who he introduces complexity to is his own player. Like, Aphelios with my team is so hard. Is that a your team thing or is that an every team thing? Like, that is the hardest possible question to answer, I know. Sinking guns to what they want to plan. Oh, they're not doing that for sure. No, they're not doing that. They're not planning 3 to 5 minutes in advance. Hold on. If you must plan your power 2 to 3 minutes into the future, you encounter problems with mental stacks. That's actually true. That's actually true. Then again, I'm just gonna say, like, Aphelios just is my favorite AD carry. He is my favorite one to play, and it's not close. They only take 1.5 minutes to prep. Unless you've just gotten off a bad cycle. Do Aphelios players usually have that, like, mastered? Like, on their mental stacks? You can manipulate your guns by... Yes, you can. You can. This is still the gate. I'm not... It might not apply to Aphelios, but this is still the gate. Like, the platinum teams that I've encountered can easily plan for, like, Drake in a minute. Drake in a minute and a half, right? Like, do they really? No, if you get stuck on Gravitum, it takes longer for sure. Getting stuck on Gravitum is, like, the limiting factor. I don't think that they have to. Grav, you just auto any target, and Q. Every other gun, you just fire into the abyss. Gravitum, you must sync with waves to actually dump. Auto account, which again requires you to go off and, you know, fix your stuff, right? Requiring a target is a greater detriment than you would realize for, like, because, like, all of the other guns have forgiveness for making a mistake in your setup. Gravitum doesn't. So I do not. Okay, let's talk about this. If you might think it's hard to sync with the team, I still think it only introduces complexity to the Aphelios player. All you have to say to your teammates is, give me 30 seconds. Right? I'll set up. Unless you've, like, really, 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 really screwed up. But... only combo that's actively detrimental to fighting is Grav Flamethrower. Isn't there something worse with Crescendum? I'm trying to think. No, Crescendum is good with, like, everything. I mean, like, Infernum Crescendum is not... It's okay if you're in perfect situations for it. I don't like fighting with Calibrum Gravitum unless I have, like, less than 10 bullets of each. This is so distracted. Severum and Calibrum. Severum and Calibrum is pretty horrendous, you're right. No, Severum Calibrum is terrible in teamfights. Severum Calibrum is only a laning combo. Like, it is excellent, 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 excellent for lane phase. But I do not want a team fight around Severum Calibrum. Like, there's a reason they give it to you first. Severum Calibrum, like, green-red. Yeah, if you thought I meant white-red, no, white-red is good. Crescendum Severum is good. Yeah. Okay, I would say Aphelios is slightly devalued for, like, he's still like a little bit reactive, I suppose. But no, I sincerely believe he only introduces major complexity for his own player, and so he's fine. Like, I mean, it's okay if there's no doomed champions. Like, that's fine. That's allowed, by the way. We just have to consciously decide that. Cho'Gath is probably slightly devalued because he's a little reliant on, like, early wave manipulation going right. Yeah, it's just none of the unknowns are jumping out as doomed to me, you know? Like, maybe we'll find one that is, but it's not clicking right away. No, is he? I mean, his catch potential's nuts, and he's just... He might be a no chain. Okay, hold on. No, any Platinum player can look at a lane and say, I need to shove him back. Because I will have mana issues if they're, like, at all experienced on Cho'Gath. He is definitely not devalued. Right? Am I giving us too much credit? Can you elaborate what no change is supposed to mean? Sure, no change means that in the context of Platinum, there is no difference between their theoretical power level and, like, or there's no, like, significant difference between their theoretical power and their actual power. Platinum does not change the champion. Will the enemy allow him to shove? I mean, that just comes down to basic wave manipulation. I mean, like, Cho'Gath Q is, like, genuinely ridiculous. The only time you have, like, significant problems is, like, level, like, 1 to 5-ish. They banned Nico. Nice! Oh, shoot, wait. So you're in one of the leagues that started the 14th, then, Paradox? Or? I know there were a couple of them that started, like, January. I think we're waiting for BOL. My team. Matchup versus really high wave clear. Okay, then probably don't pick Cho'Gath there. I don't know for sure. Oh, you're on Meta Shift. Okay, yeah, I know Meta Shift. I played in it once. I mean, don't forget, you can also just simply not pick the champion in bad matchups. It comes around in February if your team gets accepted into Aegis by playing enough ranked, so make sure to get them wrangled, right? We're not accepted yet. We doing rank ed? Beautiful! You love to hear it. Beautiful. Well, you only needed 20 games to become eligible. Your poor jungler and AD carry. They did not. They need more than that. Matchup versus really high wave clear. Yeah, Hailfire, truthfully, I do not know Cho'Gath's matchups very well. I have not run into those problems enough to know. And I am not experienced enough to know, like, if you can just pair him with a support to solve those problems. Like, Cho'Gath is not dependent on specific supports. He can be played with anything. Your second account also... Or what the hell are you grinding for? Like, you're grinding this hard? God, Congratulations, I'm fighting through mental blocks before I can grind. I'm actually impressed. It's played 21 games. Yeah, nicely done. 21 games in 2 weeks? It's not bad. 1 week. Wait, it's only 1 week, yeah. Observing Cho'Gath bot lane. Everyone does. But I have played enough of it to know it's good. I just haven't gotten specific on matchups. So hold on, let's like... Basically, the Cho'Gath AD carry pattern, guys, this is how it works, right? This is my current understanding of how it works. You must take TP, you must take Doran's Ring. In the very, very, very early game, you are going to have some crippling mana issues. You have to get past those. You have to manage your wave explicitly to generate recalls to get past those. That's easy to understand if you know that's your objective going in. Once you get past that point, and after one potential like TP for forgiveness, right? So you don't even have to do it right at first. Once you've gotten past that point and have generated like Saf Crystal plus potentially Tier, now that Seraph's is reasonable for Cho'Gath. But I don't know if Tier is necessary. Once you've gotten past that point and you have like a few ranks in Q, the power of that pick is just like you press Q every 6 seconds and the enemy can do like literally nothing about it. And then when you have problems, you recall. It's like Sivir. You're just like, oh, I'm about to run out of mana. Let's shove in base. Like, it is shockingly good. It's full mage Cho'Gath, like, to be clear. You are not... The only situation in which you would ever dream of playing tank Cho'Gath bot lane is if you have Senna. But I don't know if he experiences any changes here. Like, if you must play it, you don't have to do that. If you are doomed by wave management issues. No! No way. That's why you defaulted to thinking how he would do versus someone with high wave clear. Probably Sivir would win out on that one because like you're just neutralizing waves against each other permanently until Cho'Gath probably runs out of resources first. That probably happens, yeah. But then because he's taking TP, he has that forgiveness window. It won't compensate for everything. It won't, for sure. But Sivir's not online when Cho'Gath isn't online. They come online around the same time. Sivir can deny his primary engage. She can, but Cho'Gath can trade cooldowns with her, and that's very appealing. Because then, I mean, what do we have here, right? It's... If Sivir has to E a Cho'Gath Q, that's actually a winning exchange for Cho'Gath, provided that he's not actively trying... Like, provided that he's not, like, in immediate danger, right? 6-second Rupture versus 24 to 18 second Spell Shield. So, it is actually a winning interaction for Cho'Gath, as long as he is not in the one situation where he has to Q a Sivir defensively with Spell Shield because he's getting ganked. That's pretty much it. Boom. True, yeah. So, I mean, like, so... Again, I would imagine it's probably a Sivir favored matchup overall if none of them are interacting with each other. If they can get into that uninteractive cycle. But maybe only slightly. This isn't even the conversation we're supposed... This isn't even relevant. It's just interesting. Like, okay. Is Cho'Gath weaker in Platinum because he has to fight his way to... Because he's, like, really weak pre-3, right? Is that the... And I would say, probably not if you draft him right. So no change. Oh, Jesus. Okay, I mean, it's just a bunch of mage supports that I'm not, like, super... I mean, okay, so Veigar is weak in bot lane right now. But that detail isn't relevant to this. The fact that Veigar is weak is not relevant. Would he be better in Platinum or would he be worse in Platinum? Well, there are more aggro champions to, like, abuse... I mean, people are probably trying to pick more aggro to abuse him more explicitly. But he also has offensive utility, and offensive utility is increased in value. But that offensive utility is not very amazing because all the systems around him are weak. He suffers with a poor state of Predator. He suffers with a poor state of Everfrost. So it's almost like that boon is removed. He is more likely to position poorly. I think he's actually slightly devalued. He's already not great. You probably shouldn't play Veigar AD carry here. Like... Oh, jeez. Okay. I like the top half of my list right now. I like this. I'm satisfied with this. I like that. I like what we have. I am not upset with any of my placements so far. It's just the rest of the list. So maybe we... Probably nothing more will come from me bashing my skull into the wall right now, right? Can we agree with that? But is Veigar truly devalued? Is Veigar truly devalued? Fundamentally reactive champion limits power. I mean, kind of, yeah, that's kind of Veigar. Synchronous, that's not true. That's not true. That doesn't hit him. Okay. Okay, yeah, okay. I mean, no, it kind of implies that Yasuo is really good. Is Yasuo hard to pick? Okay, what is limiting Yasuo from getting picked? Is it just range? It's just range gaps? Not even necessarily. Is it mobility? I mean, he is combo dependent. It's his own team around him. Vulnerability to ganks? His vulnerability is like offsets a little bit in bot lane. Naturally pushes. Or sits under tower. Could be team composition. Team composition plays a part in it. You need a reason to be running Yasuo. Naturally pushes or sits under tower. Okay, yeah. So he does lose to He does lose to the hyper pushers for sure, but some of the hyper pushers are devalued. The naturally pushes can be offset by, like, you know, it is possible to just kind of last hit with your Q. I mean, anytime you look for a window, you end up pushing. Gank vulnerability is offset by the presence of a support a little bit. Like, it's nowhere near as extreme as it is mid-top. All his interactions... Yeah, all his matchups are interaction-based. That's what we're looking for! That's what we're looking for! Oh my god! Hard to get a good first base? That one I can understand. Yeah, that one I can understand. But that's what we're looking for. I don't care if this is related to Yasuo anymore. If all of a champion's matchups are interaction-based, they're actually slightly empowered. If all MUs are interaction-based, you are easier to pick. But not all of Yasuo's matchups are interaction-based. Yasuo will just always lose to... Okay, I'm going to put him in no change for now. I'm going to put him in no change. But offensive utility... It's between these two. It's between these two. He forces interaction, which is... Okay, I'm going to put him in enhanced. Why? Because he's warping bot lane a little bit. He changes how the lane is played. He's weird. You're not used to playing against him necessarily. I'm going to put him in slight enhanced. I'm going to put him in enhanced, yeah. But not empowered yet. You know, enhanced is like slightly improved, significantly stronger. And then we have like slightly devalued. I don't know why I typed that out. Impaired is noticeably gated. Gated is harder pick conditions. Noticeably gated or weakened. And then doomed is obvious what it is. I mean, like, I would... I would assume that most of our mages can just be dumped here. Like, there's nothing particularly specific to Platinum that makes Corki better or worse. There's nothing particularly specific to Platinum that makes Heimerdinger better or worse, to my understanding, as an AD carry. Like, we could be missing boons or gates. Like, we could be. I'm not familiar enough with Syndra AP carry right now. Let's just check some solo queue numbers. We have to take these with a grain of salt, obviously. Oh, I wish I could see that more cleanly. So, no, actually, in solo queue, Platinum is... it's so messy. No, it's so sporadic. This is garbage. This is jumbled data. We can't use this. Like... I've been hearing the same from my own top laner. I've absolutely been hearing the same from my own top laner. Platinum is not good. Platinum is not a skilled rank. I am ashamed to have been in Platinum for so long, but I have to shake that shame because it's like, oh yeah, you haven't been playing, Quinn. You can... it sounds like Platinum top laners just have the basics down. Yeah. Getting Giga Ego counterpicked, then they don't do it right. Oh shit, really? That's what they're doing? Yeah, so like, my top laner will just encounter a situation. It's like, oh, I can just bluff my way into pretending I have an advantage, and they'll go with it. Like, oh, I can just, like, kill them sometimes. Like, I just kill them. It's... like, because again, specificity, right? Specificity probably hits top lane the most. It probably hits top lane the most now that I think about it. They understand the basics of laning, and they understand how to, like, pilot their champions in lane, but, like, when specificity becomes a problem, they're missing interactions in lane, right? Hey, he saw the counterpick. Does he know the interactions? No, it's an interaction-based matchup. You can outplay it. If it's interaction-based, you just try to knowledge check them. in Platinum. Is it like the I'm plat, I'm the best, everyone else who sucks kind of mindset? Which is an embarrassing mindset to have because Platinum is like the iron of this elo. Oh wait, I can keep this here. That's fine. Like, I will never try to claim that I'm a good player. I'm a good analyst. I understand the game decently well. I'm not a good player. I can learn long-term from what I do, but I mean, I can't, I'm struggling to build my mental stack. They have Lucian, Nami, Heck, Galio, R5, Heimer top. Oh yeah, Galio likes to play for that, for sure, yeah. I need a word for this. We need to find something that's like, it fits all the criteria, like it matches, oh no, we're looking for synonyms here. Contest, resembles, corresponds to another, like... No, I'm not using the same word as a foundation. Top lanes get too focused on counterpick instead of just playing what they know how to play, right? But I struggle greatly in high-stress situations that prevent you from accessing... Exactly! That's the big gate that players like us have, right? That's the exact gate that I run into as well. Like, almost. Okay, maybe the mechanical nuances aren't my thing, but... You know, similar thing. I have a lot of knowledge, and the way that I practice that knowledge is not conducive to executing it. Having understanding of something is not the same as having the skills to use it. So, you know, players like Paradox are just better than me as a player. Like, Paradox plays the game more. Paradox, like, experiences more situations. Paradox probably has a more refined, like, mental map of, you know, how to access his knowledge, right? But I had Dallas on my team, so I won. What am I trying to do? Like, I'm trying to... Met criteria? I can do that? Alright, let's see. Past met requirements. Fit the bill. Satisfied the demands of. Past blister. Made the grade. Wow, this is really great. To do with Olaf time. It's so hard. The Vel'Koz sub has Night Harvester based! You think it's so bad? I'm not experienced enough on it, but every time I watch it, it just makes the lane so volatile. Like, it just makes the lane scary. I mean, I know my mechanical skills, I would fail into the lane. Oh, it's sorry about this for a moment. Okay, I just got like a big string of messages, right? Um. Yeah, I just need a word for this. I mean, should I just leave it here? Like, should I just call it perfect? Like, the thing that can't be avoided, the primary barrier to getting high rank is the number of games you need to play. True. Yep. I have definitely been learning that. Bot lane tier list. Hi, Declo. Not exactly a tier list, but yes. I think we're... Yeah, once we name this... It's become clear to me that we're just, like, stuck. Yeah, exactly. And we're probably going to go back and, like, redo it for IBS at some point as well. I mean, do we just call them ideal plat champs? Like... What does unlocked mean for Seraphine? Sorry, I'm getting like some... Oh my god, I just... Yeah, cleared everything out. Shook something. Okay, so... Unlocked means you're significantly stronger with easier pick conditions. Empowered means you're significantly stronger. Enhanced, you're slightly improved. You can be no change. Slightly devalued is obvious. Impaired is like you're noticeably gated or weakened in some way. Gated means you just have noticeably harder pick conditions. And then there's doomed, which we don't have anyone in yet. So Seraphine is just simply easier to pick in Platinum, and like her properties align with what we've talked about in here. She has some good offensive utility. She has a warp factor, right? We're done. Sorry about that, guys. It's just helping a friend. I'm done. Do we like the word ideal for something that like fits platinum criteria perfectly? If we are, I'm gonna export this and just come back to it, and we're good. We're good for now. I don't think there's any 80 carries that are like explicitly doomed because they're in platinum. Good. Where it's like, because I'm trying to find something where it's like it matches criteria, or it fits perfectly, or it like maps on, or like it's just which would be like perfect for me. I would prefer something like that. I mean, let's actually just look up ideal, being the most suitable, perfect, actually most suitable is pretty good. Archetypical, consummate, exemplary, faultless, model, optimal. Wait, model maybe? Satisfies above. I mean, yes, it would once you understand exactly what the list is saying, makes sense, but like reading it for the first time would be like, what the hell does this mean? Satisfies at top tier. You know what I mean? Like, what if I did model? Ideal is up here. Exemplar is like a... Nah, I don't know. Alright, ideal showed up anyway, so we'll just use that. Download. He bought 13.1. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Guys, I'm exhausted. Platinum character power for the alliteration. Yeah, it isn't a meta thing. It's a lens, right? Okay, I'll be right back, guys. I'm going to catch up on your messages later. Um, like as soon as I get back, I need water. I burned myself out on this list. I'll have to. I'm gonna take 5. Okay. What's up? Imagine crawling up to Plat only to now be the new Iron in terms of ego groups. It should, I mean, like, yeah, that would suck. But at the same time, like, Platinum, okay, D4 is where the worst egos are by far. It's really bad in D4. I hated being low diamond. It was the worst experience of my life in terms of League of Legends. Um, But yeah, I mean, like, you do not get to be, if you're trying to get better, you do not get to develop an ego. Like, you are not allowed to think of your rank as nice and good. You're allowed to acknowledge the good of it, but you can't let that go to your head. So I do like calling Platinum the Iron of High Elo, because it, it's in a sense empowering. It's like, wow, I can arguably call myself high elo now. That's cool. But at the same time, it's like, okay, well, now I'm like iron in there. Like, I'm the best of the worst and I'm the worst of the best. Like, it's a kind of, it's a weird thresholdy spot, And I have no shame in, like, okay, I am a little bit ashamed to be there, but I have to shake that embarrassment if I want to be a better player, Anyway, what role do we want to do now? I have time for one more. Ideal, unlocked. I did this typo again. No change. I mean, that's it, right? Slightly devalued, impaired, gated, doomed, can't type, and unknown. Sure, I can do support. If the mentality was more, I can definitely say I'm above average. Yeah, if you want to say you're above average, by all means be my guest. Like, you have the right to say that, but, like, there's a nasty habit of using that to put people down, and, like, let's be real, Platinum is not good enough to start putting people down. Technically, no one should be good enough to start putting people down, but, like, if we're going... Let's do support. Okay, Quinn, don't get weird. You guys... If you guys could see my theoretical support tier list, there's, like, 70% of the roster on it. Like... Oh, okay, so don't get weird. We're gonna talk about normal I was about to just put Ari in there. Okay. Woo-wee. I was about to put Anivia on there. Okay, this is gonna be hard for me. Because I'm about to put Azir up there, right? I'm about to put, like, Camille up there, right? Whew. I was about to put Echo up there. Like, my finger stopped for a second. I will put Fiddlesticks up there. I'm not. I'm not putting Ivern up. He's hyper niche. Yes. Heimerdinger support is, like, top 2 in the game right now. I was about to put Karthus up there. I need some... No, Heimerdinger support is, like, genuinely excellent. Actually, hold on. Let me... Jackie, in case you weren't aware, check this out. You're about to be blown away. Let's see, where is it? Heimerdinger's right here. Heimerdinger. Heimerdinger. Yeah. Actually, there's a lot of Heimerdinger bands, too, if you start looking through here. Heimerdinger. Like, all support. Heimer support. Yeah. Worlds 2022. World Finals. Here he is. So in case you missed that funny little development, yeah, that's, which is why it's worth exploring off meta, by the way. Because Heimerdinger support was, like, a rumbling for, like, a year. People were talking about it, like, in hushed tones and back alleys, and all of a sudden, here it comes. Like, oh, wow, that thing that was getting passed around is, like, actually good. Wow. I was about to skip over Leona. I'm including Nasus. You can't stop me. I will include Nico. I'll put Pantheon in. Con, Rel, Renata. I've been good. I can have a Rumble as a treat. I will put Sejuani in here because she's important to talk about. Okay, I'm getting into a dangerous territory now. Like, Vex support is something that's on my normal list, but it's a little too fringe probably for me to include in this one. Okay, that's my way of saying it's weak and I don't want to rate it here. Not a very good way of saying that, but I'll include Silas. I'll include Kench. I'll include Thresh. If it's weak and off meta, I would prefer to not talk about it here. If it's weak and normal, then sure. If it's off meta and strong, then I will talk about it here. I think that's probably like where we'll be going. So I'll include Twitch. Vel'Koz is good. I was about to include Xayah because I forgot what list I'm working in. Xerath. Yuumi. Zac. I will put Ziggs. Zillion. I'll put Zoe, Zyra. K'Sante is too fringed for me to include, so... Bard, no. Okay, so Paradox, that is a meme, probably, but is it not a meme? Is Bard actually just oh no, he has a fucking ridiculous warp factor. He actually does go, like, probably up here somewhere. He just, like, screws up the game entirely. Like... I think I'll put him in unlocked right now. I think his laning is, like, just barely weak enough to not do... Why is everybody pinging me during my stream today? Okay. Thank you, friends. Okay, Blitzcrank. Empowered. Not unlocked. He doesn't get new pick conditions, but he's better. What else? We're looking for the weirdos. Okay, Sejuani. Slightly devalued. No, impaired. No, slightly devalued. Okay, Yuumi Yuumi no change, I think, probably. Twitch. Or empowered. We'll put Twitch and empowered for now. Put Shaco and empowered. Like, we're just looking for all these champions that just fuck up the game completely. That's what we're looking for right now. Like, anything that's just weird. Kate Lux, Draven Lane. So yeah, just stuff that abuses your lack of combat skills in lane. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Things that abuse your lack of combat skills. Yeah, forces you to stay down. Yeah. Stuff that forces you to lane. Stuff that turns you into singed in lane, right? Something that... by the way, did I forget to include something that we actually do want to talk about? I'm eyeing Talia, and I'm mad that I am. Shen is probably worth talking about a little bit. Yeah, no, Shen top. Shen top goes up here. Shen dirties up the game so much. Rammus support. Okay, let's calm down there a little bit, or I'm gonna start adding Elise and Echo and stuff. All right. Zillion support's cool. Zillion is a cool dude. I like him. He's very cringe, and I like cringe a lot. No, I'm not saying... Okay, we're good. What dirties the game a lot? I mean, Hyper Roam supports just, like, ruin things. Okay, Seraphine is enhanced. I mean, is she impact? Is Seraphine, like, is Seraphine support noticeably stronger in Platinum? I think Seraphine support is very middling. You guys saw my... I mean, I'm just gonna shelve right here. You guys saw this. I don't like Seraphine support. But Rel is noticeably better down here. She's very interaction based. Oh. There we go. Yep. Yep. Warp factors. Galio has a warp factor. Heimerdinger has a big warp factor. If we agree to change bar, do you think Pike greater than bar? Is that signed backwards? Because that's what we have. Pike's the real number 1. Okay, yeah, good. Oh, if we move Bard, okay, yeah, okay, then we're fine. Yeah. Okay, I get it. Nasus is definitely a little bit impaired. Tom Kench is like really impaired. That Drew. Tarek, I'm going to say no change because he has proactive tools if you pair him with stuff. Thresh kind of balances out between being useless and reactive still, but then also landing his hooks sometimes. Renata is a weird case where she is a reactive champion, but she's one that is just so overwhelming and like players don't tend to be able to dodge her abilities very well. Oh, okay, hold on. Big skill shots. Big skill shots is a boon. Like, I would argue there's just no change in Platinum for Renata. I think she's probably just the same champion here. Like, or she's, like, slightly stronger. Heimer 1 higher into Empowered? Just because, like, he is very oppressive, yes, but, like, don't forget this isn't a power tier list. That's the most disorienting part about this. Heimerdinger on my normal list is, like, top of oppressive behind only Janna. And Janna's a counter pick, and Heimer isn't. So... But is Heimer stronger in Platinum because he warps how the lane works? Probably yes, actually. Probably yes. So then what would we say here? Like, Shaco's way better. Rel's better. What else, like, warps things? I mean, Senna's a little bit better. Anything with a global is better. Globals screw up Platinum a lot. Hi, Sonic. Better compared to theoretical power. This is a map from theoretical tier lists onto Platinum. So this is not a tier list. What would make Alistar better here? Because it sure isn't aggression. I mean, I would immediately place Alistar here. That's my gut instinct. And I would place Braum here. That's my gut instinct. Like, and I would place Poppy, like, probably here. It's like, what? Okay, does anything here become harder to pick because it, like, requires specific synergies and stuff that you can't reasonably expect your teammates to be playing and adapting to? Braum doesn't become harder to play. Braum sucks. But he doesn't become worse in Platinum. In fact, he... Yes, with lane catch tools that can catch some people off guard, right? You'd never slam. AD carry from. Oh, there's a terminology disconnect here. No, okay. Being a counter pick, a response class champion is not damning. Being a fully reactive gameplay wise champion can be, unless of course champions around you like enable your ability to make plays, and then it makes no difference. So Xayah ended up in no change, even though she's a reactive champion, because you know the pieces around her can change that ability a bit. Yeah, that's a terminology disconnect. We're good. So no, we're actually fine. And in fact, I mean, I would even argue Janna is slightly. I'm actually just gonna put her here. Janna's slightly devalued. It doesn't mean she's not fucking broken, but she's slightly devalued. Nami is noticeably more effective here. You want to slam Morgan Doomed. Does anything about specifically Platinum make her worse? Do Plat supports roam better than IBS players? Yes. Than Gold players? Yes. They roam about as well as you would expect the like middle of the road elo to roam. So again, Jackie, what you need to expect from any Platinum player is that if there is a basic fundamental of the game, they probably understand it at a reasonable level, but not a very advanced level. So Platinum players know how to roam, and they understand why they would want to roam, but they don't always understand when to roam. They don't always get that part right. Especially since part of that requires understanding what your AD carry needs, and understanding what your top laner needs, and what your mid laner needs, and like what your junglers do. Like, they get it. They don't get it amazingly. Like, who becomes outright harder to pick? Probably. Okay, so this means Jarvan has fewer pick conditions than normal if he gets down here. Is that true? Does he have fewer pick conditions than normal? Otherwise, he would end up here. Why would he end up here? Because his laning requires him to poke and prod and wait, and it's weird and awkward. And play for incremental advantages, which can be thrown away in an instant. Would we consider Swain slightly devalued? Let's see, does he hit any gates? Being a fundamentally reactive champion? No. Aggro champ, okay, not that one. He must plan. No, I wouldn't say Swain is inherently devalued with the gates that we have right now. That being said, my perception of his theoretical power is not high. It's not that Swain is gated, it's that he just receives boons at lower elos, I think. So, I mean, Swain is probably exactly the same as he usually is. Maybe even slightly enhanced because we're a little sloppy around hook champs that we're not used to playing against. Lulu no change. Yep, Lulu no change. We can just slam a few enchanters here, no? Rakan, I mean, would we say Rakan is a little empowered? His weak laning can actually just find catches still. Yeah, he's probably fine. You know, very slightly weak laner with some catch. Should be okay. Should be a little better. Lux Karma, probably same. Yep. I mean, we can even argue Karma is slightly devalued because you might want to play for plates and play around the map, but, you know, they're probably the same. They're probably the same. Zac is definitely, like, you know, you unlock pick conditions for Zac, for sure. Zac just becomes a thing you can pick. Probably. No change on Amumu, I would imagine. These are gut feelings right now. There's not, like, rhyme or reason to some of these. Oh, is that how that happened? Zac is honestly just ridiculous. Zac is so... so funny. Warp factors, baby. Let's go. Is Sona devalued because she has to wait a little longer? She doesn't unlock pick conditions. She doesn't lose pick conditions. She is, I mean, she is like one reactive champion and a C. I mean, she does lean your team a little more. Okay, let's slightly devalue Sona. No, Zillion's warp factor is funny. He's better. She hard enables Neela. So does Tarek, who is just. I mean, yeah, I guess different types of players, right? Offensive utility. Like offensive, defensive. Sure. Actually, yeah, because I'm running into it. Yeah, Galio is slightly better. No, okay, dude, his laning is so shit, though. Surely his warp factor doesn't compensate, right? Like, no, because his laning is empowered by bush play, which we disrespect. Yeah. Because again, we have Rel up here, and people will probably expose themselves to Galio's offensive options. So maybe he is slightly better, right? Interaction-based matchups, right? If matchups are I mean, not all matchups are interaction-based, but like interaction-based matchups in general are easier to play. What are you going to pick with set support? Like, okay, are any of these like combo picks? Any of these combo picks? You know what? Have fun. Gaten, Ivern. Come on up. Does Set belong here, or is he... Callista support? Based. Malzahar support? Based. Oh, you pair Set with Callista. Okay. I'm sorry. I actually did just include Callista support on my normal tier list that I updated earlier, so... Maybe we should make that available for patrons. Huh. I don't know. It's just my understanding of something. It's... I mean, did we just immediately exhaust our warp factors? I mean, I guess Pantheon is like a little bit better. Just off his own warp factor. Anything that has like semi-globals or, I mean, Shen, yeah, we would improve Shen a little bit, but not too much. Because you're still running Shen support, and that's still like inherently a little limited. Ashe does have a global, but it's... Okay, but that global is not consistent. Silas can have a global, true. Where's all my weirdos? It's actually... like, guys, it's actually improved, so... Singed. I forgot Singed! I don't care about the sample size. Oh yeah, do I understand his laning? No, I don't. I can't place him. Urgot is not empowered. Urgot has, like, 2 situations where he's good. Or, like, Urgot has, like, exactly 1 type of situation where he's good. Like... Urgot. Vladimir is a good support. Smile. Just play Elise at that point. Like, just actually be Lehens. At least support probably does exist if you're crazy enough to learn how it works. Oh, Jesus Christ. Are you guys seriously, like... MF sup. Go. You still stand by my Neela Orn? I haven't heard of this before. I think you forgot to tell me. Wait a minute. Fuck, I wish I was still a support main. I would... Oh, I miss it. I want to go back. It's okay. I might... So I was supposed to plan some dive comp research on Wednesday, but I just got canceled on. Maybe I probably can do that next time we... It's all good. Okay, anyway, Fiddle, right? Fiddle is noticeably better. I am a support main, but for the indefinite future, I now have to play jungle. I am a jungle main now, which is weird, and I'm not used to it. But I've had a lot of, like, my team, my competitive team needs me to play jungle, and I've had a lot of my close friends and stuff say, like, Quinn, it makes sense for you to be a jungler. And I'm like, that's a weird concept to grapple with, but it kind of does. Like, it does make sense. The only reason I would prefer support is, like, the type of champions available to me. But, like, it kind of does make sense for me to be a jungler. So it's weird. I'm not used to it, but I'm getting better. Which means, like, every time I stream solo queue ranked, it should be jungle games lately. I did have, like, one Taric game in placements. But that's cool, Paradox. I should bust out Metopia player at some point, like my alt account, and just fuck around on it, break some mental blocks. Since I like to roam a lot as a support, like in my norms, yeah. I mean, I am a big enchanter player, don't forget, which lanes a lot. Like, oops, not that. It's more that I have like a good holistic view of the map. If like I'm the member of my team that can most accurately keep track of like what's going on the map. Okay, do we have any artillery mages or stuff to place? Like, are most of these, like, not changed in Platinum? Like, are we missing boons? Are we missing gates? Being an, warp factors, fundamentally proactive, aggressive champion, augments power. Do we have any of those? Okay, you're slightly empowered then. You're slightly empowered then. Nico as warping as Pike? Clearly, hell yeah. I mean... I will say no change just because Morgana does actually gain some offensive value, which is weird. Like, her bindings are hitting still, but... Sejuani's only slightly devalued. Theoretical Sejuani is, like, probably the best tank support. Practical Sejuani is absolutely not. Or you could deny all the vision in the world. Well, let's wait to see where the mid-scope lands, Paradox, because I heard... I don't remember what the source was. It was definitely a video, like one of the Riot Talks. I heard that they wouldn't be surprised if... No, it was Flox's stream. That's what it was. I think it was Flox's stream. He said he would not be surprised if Nico's support play rate increased after the mid-scope. So that's very exciting. She can. Except jungle, right? Not jungle, right? Not jungle, right? Not jungle, right? Big fuck you abilities, like big globals, big, like, yeah, there's a lot of bad champs up here, but 4 or 5 into gank, back to your just Predator. I loved Predator Nico. I wouldn't run it now, but oh, hold it, 1 sec. I think some misinformation is being spread. Nope, never mind. They're good. Yes. Wait. Misinformation is being spread in one of my team chats, and it needs to be stopped immediately because it might actually, like... Oh, that's... shouldn't... I don't know why I went there. That sucks. Great. Okay, whatever. You hope they don't kill the viability of solo lane Nico. Don't want her as a support only. I would be genuinely shocked if they did that. That would be, like... That would be very, very, very surprising. I mean, like, we probably slightly empower all these guys, right? It's hard, yeah. Lux Seraphine. Dude, no, blame the player base for Seraphine, right? Seraphine mid and bot were really, really strong, and then everyone still tried to play her support, and they were useless. And then Riot's like, oh my god, everyone just wants to play her support for some reason. Fine, we'll buff her for supports. Blame the player base. Kench has a warp factor. I forgot about that part. Kench has a warp factor. I'll just leave this. Okay, do we have any complaints with this list so far? I'm just going to leave it off for the night. I'm kind of tired. I will not be able to finish everything tonight. I need to go find some more boons and gates, and then we'll have to reassess. But we're good. We're good. No problems. No big problems. Doesn't look controversial. It's funny to have Talon here. That's funny. Cool. Okay, I'm going to leave it for now. Guys, I am going to have to completely remake my schedule for the week because I have just... One of my events got canceled on, and now my scrims might have to move. So, let's figure that out, shall we? I will figure that out off stream. Yeah. So maybe I'll be back on Wednesday for this same project. Maybe I will. We'll find out. And maybe I'll have a better idea of what's going on. I'm going to talk to some people off stream and we'll kind of develop this a little bit. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Stay tuned. You know, I'll tell you guys when I'm going live here. The amateur seasons are starting up very shortly, and I'm going to be doing coverage of some of those amateur leagues. I'm really excited for that new type of content. So, yeah, just keep an eye out for that as it comes, right? Love yourselves, respect each other. I'll see you all next time. Thank you for your help, everybody. I really appreciate it. Take care.